So it's going to be a fun one. So if you're new here, welcome. Hi, my name's Katie Fassett. I'm a mama of four from Minnesota. Been married to my husband for almost 10 years, and I was in an MLM for 6 years. And just this last October, they sent out a message saying that everyone who was a partner with this MLM, their job gone. So the job that I had known for 6 years just taken away in the snap of one message and just a message. And so I'm sharing kind of my story of being with that MLM, what it was like, the good, the bad, the ugly, all the in between, just to keep you company. So go start washing dishes, go fold some laundry, go for a walk. I don't know, whatever you like to do while you watch YouTube, go do that. Let's get into this topic today. Is going to be just fun. The first topic, the first video, if you have not watched it yet, is just kind of giving a preface to my story. The second video, I talked about what it was like being in a health and wellness MLM when the main focus is weight loss, and what that kind of did to my mental health when the after photo is not enough. So if you haven't watched that yet, go watch that. Go watch the first video, come back to this, or you can just start with this video and go watch the other ones after. I'm not too worried about the chronological order of the way you watch things. But okay, with all that said, let's get into it. The first thing that we're going to talk about in this episode is on the programs. And if you are or were a body partner or a Beachbody coach, you know that you did a lot of programs. And I was only in it for 6 years. I can't imagine what it was like for the women who were in this for 14, 16, however many years I think the body opportunity was available. So many programs came out in that time. So many programs came out during my time of being a body partner. And the thing about it is that each new program that came out, you had to get the new program. You're not just going to sit around and not do it, because if you're not doing the program, why would anybody else want to do the program? So that's what you were told. That's what was preached, was you don't want to miss out on that. Because if somebody comes to you and they're asking you about the new program that came out and you haven't done it yet, well, then they're not going to buy from you. So I did every single new program, launch, relaunch that came out. And I just wanted to start in chronological order. And there we go, with the programs that I started with, and just kind of give them a ranking from my perspective. What was the best program? What was the worst? The good parts, the bad parts. With that being said, that's a preface. Let's get into this video. I think it's going to be fun. So sit back, relax, or go do whatever you want. First program that I ever did with BODi, and this is ridiculous. Now, when I look back, I'm like, what was I thinking? But then again, this is what everybody was doing. So I was never a fitness person before I joined Beachbody. I just wanted to be healthier. So I joined when I was 20 weeks pregnant. And the program at the time that was the big deal was this program called Lift 4. I think it cost almost $200 to purchase the program, along with Beachbody On Demand for the year, along with Shakeology, along with like the bands that came with it. And this program was called Lift 4. It was a weightlifting program with Joel Freeman, and it was 4 days a week. The workouts were anywhere from like 35 to 45 minutes, sometimes close to 50 minutes. And it was strength training, lifting, weightlifting, and HIIT workouts. So that's what I did for like my first jumping into a program, 20 weeks pregnant. And when I talked to my doctor about it, she was just like, that sounds awesome. Like my OB at the time, she was like, just move your body, whatever. And so I got the okay from my doctor, and I just went for it. I had to modify a lot because there was always a core component at the end. But that program I actually really liked, and I've done it multiple times since then because it really is just fundamental moves. So if you're new to weightlifting, if you've never done it before, this is a really great program. Some of the HIIT workouts, like if you're not into the HIIT stuff, it may not be your jam, but most of it is just weightlifting. So if you want to just get the basics, it's a slow pace. So I love listening to like a podcast or YouTube while I do those workouts. I'm actually going through that program again. So that program, I would give it an 8 or a 9 out of a 10. In my opinion, it was just a solid program. And I don't know if it was just because it was one of the first ones I did, but I remember it was the first time where like I flexed my arm muscles and you could see that there was something there. So I felt pretty cool with that program. And if you want to get started with something, that's a good one in my opinion. I really liked it, but that's my opinion of Lift 4. It is just kind of funny because I don't think I would ever recommend that for someone who's never worked out before and they're pregnant to start with that program. No, I would not recommend that, but that's what I did. So that was just kind of a funny story. Plus, I've also met the trainer in person. I've gotten a picture with him. He's a pretty nice guy, but he also just kind of seems like a giant dork. Like, I feel like he was probably not that cool in high school. And now as an adult, like, he, is a fitness trainer or whatever, but he just kind of gave me like bro vibes, if that made sense. I don't know, do with that information what you will, but I'm sure he's a good person. So, anyways, that's my opinion of the first program that I ever did with BODi. 8, 9 out of 10. I feel like we're starting pretty strong. Let's move on to the next program. After I did Lift 4, I went into a program called PIO. At the time, everybody was doing Transform 20. So, okay, let's back it up. After Lift 4, I did do some like postnatal workouts. I think I also did T25, which is like a 25-minute all cardio, and I just modified. I think I also tried like 21 Day Fix as well, and I just modified, did a lot of walking, and then did a lot of the like prenatal workouts that they had. They didn't have that many of an option at the time, but that's what I did. Then when I was postpartum, so I had my baby in November, then my first program I started was in January. At the time, Transform 20 came out, and I felt so pressured to do Transform 20. If you were around during that time, that was the step. So there was like this black step, and then it had like the lime green words on it, and it was with Shaun T, so a big trainer, and everyone was so excited about this program, but I just felt like it was going to be too intense for me postpartum. And I'm really glad that I listened to myself because it was a pretty intense program when I finally did do it. So the program that I decided to do was a program called PIO with Chalene Johnson. And if you know anything about her, or if you don't, go listen to her podcast or follow her on Instagram. She is super inspiring. Love everything she shares. But anyways, I did PIO. There's no weights. You don't need any equipment. The workouts were like 30 to 40 minutes. And it was just a wonderful program to start postpartum. The thing about it is that it's kind of an older one. Like, it wasn't a new one. So, I mean, it's not like the music is not super updated, and it's kind of, I don't know, like the workout clothes, you can just tell it's an older program, but nonetheless, it really worked. And I felt like I was so flexible at the end of it. I really enjoyed it, but I still am someone who really enjoys the weightlifting aspect to it. This is Pilates and yoga combined into two. So if you don't like that kind of stuff, you would not like this program. So I'm going to give it like a 7 out of 10. Not that it was bad, just that it's not my favorite form of movement, but it was really fun. Then the next program that I did that was really pushed that year was the program called Morning Meltdown 100. So this is in 2019. This program was the big freaking deal. Like, everyone was like, have you heard of Morning Meltdown 100? Morning Meltdown 100, 100. And like, the hype and the amp for this program was insane. And everybody bought this program. So the thing is, you have access to the workouts, all the workouts for the year. But when these new programs come out, you have to buy the program. And the cheapest way to do it is to get a completion pack, or a challenge pack is what they were called at the time, which ranged anywhere from $140 to $170, $190. Okay. So you'd get it with this pack on top of already having the membership for the year, because when the new program came out, you didn't get access to it on Beachbody On Demand. You'd have to wait 3 or more months to be able to actually do the program. So a lot of us who have FOMO and we don't want to wait, we would just go and fork out the cash. And you were just told that this is what you do, and then you get your whole team to do it. So that is a huge way that Beachbody made a lot of money off of their partners, was all these things, all these new programs that you're told you're going to just stink if you don't do these next programs. So this program is 100 workouts in 100 days, no rest days, just working out like a maniac. Okay. So it came out in that July. So by that time I was like 7-ish months postpartum, 7, 8-ish months. And I stuck to that program like a psycho person. And at that point, I weighed the same amount that I weigh right now, which is around 139 pounds. And so at that point, I was working out, and I lost 10 pounds doing that program. So as far as weight loss, it definitely worked for me. As far as the moves go, my goodness, some of those moves, it was like, what is happening? like some of them, one of them was like a fight club workout, one of them's yoga, one of them's like leg day, arm day, because it was like a 10-day rotation of like the same type of workouts, but every single one was different. I would say it's the most fun workout to look at. Like there's tons of people in the cast. The outfits that the girls wear are like so cute, and you see so many different women and like different body sizes and races, and there's like men, and it was just a super cool program to do. So if you want to try something that's longer, that is different, like some of the moves, if I can find a video, I'll put it up here, but some of the moves were just like, this is so weird. Like it was like a kickback, scorpion, bunny hop, jump scare. I don't know. It was something. I don't know if it was doing anything, but I tried my best and I lost 10 pounds. So there's that. Did I need to lose 10 pounds? I don't know, because I feel like I don't need to lose 10 pounds right now, but I did back then. Okay. I got to give a rating to the Morning Meltdown 100. So that Morning Meltdown 100 program was with Jericho Matthews. And I got to say, I met her in person. She is so down to earth. She has the coolest freaking hair you've ever seen. She's like red, long, beautiful, thick hair. And the hairstyle she did in those workouts was like so cool. But meeting her in person, she is just super down to earth. Very down to earth, very humble. And I got a picture with her too. And she's just cool. She just seemed like a cool person that has a good head on her shoulders. And I don't think she got wrapped up in, sometimes I felt like the super trainers is what we called them, kind of got it to their head, like people acted like they were just these celebrities when we would see them. It was like, and so I just felt like Jericho just kind of, she knew that like, this is ridiculous and I'm just a regular person. So anyways, that program, I would give it a 9 out of 10. It was a really freaking fun program. Are the moves weird? Yeah, that's why it's not getting a 10 out of 10, because the moves were kind of weird with some of the workouts, but I just have really fond memories of it. And it was like the biggest fitness challenge that I'd ever done up until that point. So that's what I have to say about that program. This program was 6 weeks of the work. This program was announced at Summit. So our annual conference, we got announced that we got a new trainer. His name was Walla, and he had been like a trainer for like NBA basketball stars and, celebrity trainer here and there and whatever. And this program was 6 weeks of the work, and this sizzle trailer like brought like shivers down my spine. And I remember seeing it. I was like, I will never do that program. Like it's too intense. I could never do it. But there's FOMO. So everyone's saying that they're going to do this 6-week program. And I just finished up Morning Meltdown 100. So what I do, I fork out some more money to go do 6 weeks of the work. But at the same time, I had a good chunk of gals who also did it with me. So I kind of paid for the program and then some. That's just how I justified it in my mind, buying all these programs. Anyway, so 6 weeks of the work, 6 weeks, I think it was 6 days a week. The workouts were like 30, 40 to sometimes 50 minutes long. And the workouts were intense. You had to take like a fitness test at the beginning, and it was extreme. I gotta say, I think I was the most fit I've ever been in my life after that program. I don't know if I'll ever get back to that, because I have no desire to ever do that program again. Like it was just hard, and it definitely gave you a burn. I would give it a 6 out of 10, just because it's something where I don't think I would have been able to do that program if I hadn't just come off of doing a 100-day program. So I felt like my body was like ready to go into that, but it's definitely not something that a person can do lightly. You have to be committed, and it's tough physically. And if you don't like being yelled at, there was one workout that was called the Crucible. What in the world? So anyways, I would give that one a 6 out of 10. 6 weeks of the work, you get a 6 out of 10. However, Walla, meeting him in person, he was so nice, just like a laughy person, like someone who easily laughs, easily smiles. Like I remember making jokes about him, like, I'm a mom of 2 kids and I did your program. And he was like laughing at, I don't know what I was doing. I was making him laugh though. So in my book, Mala, if you ever see this, I don't think you ever will, you're a 10 out of 10 in my book. Okay, now let's move on to the next year was the year of insanity. It felt like whiplash. As soon as you would finish a program, a new program would come out, and then a new one, and a new one, and a new one. And at this point, I was pregnant now with my 3rd baby. So if you remember, that first program I did, I was pregnant. Then that whole like Morning Meltdown 100 and the 6 weeks of the work, I was postpartum. Well, now here we are in 2020, and there was so many programs. There was, let's see, 5 programs came out that year. It was wild. So the first program that we're going to talk about was Bar Blend. So it was crazy because finished 6 weeks of the work. Now this Bar Blend program is going to come out. I will say this program maybe wasn't so bad. And I have a lot of people who love this program. And my biggest issue with it was that I thought it was only 6 weeks, but it was 8 weeks long. And it was one of those programs you just want it to be over. It just hurt my legs. It just hurt my legs so bad. Like I just remember the bar moves, like my goodness, it was rough. And I remember we were almost to like 6 weeks and I was like, thank the Lord I can be done with this program. Like my legs hurt. Like and I was getting sick of her toxic positivity. Elise Joan, if you ever see this, just know that I think you're actually really awesome. I met Elise, this trainer, in person. So sweet, super sweet, so nice. As genuine as she seems online, she is that sweet in person. Like I feel like she always gets tears in her eyes. Like I told her I was pregnant with my 4th when we were in Mexico, and I'm like, I'm pregnant with my 4th, and she was like, oh, like, and I'm like, I don't even know you, and she's like crying over random people. So she's just very sweet, but she also has this toxic positivity, and it's so much of like, breathe with inside yourself and know that you are the universe, and it's a little too new agey, you know. As a Christian, that was not my vibe. So I kind of had to like tune it out and do the workouts. And every day there was like a strong and I am fierce and I am fire, whatever. And so that was just a little bit much. Once we got to the 6 weeks, I thought we were going to wrap up the program. And she's like, we have 2 weeks left. I about pooped my pants. I was like, what? 2 weeks? No! And I remember just being mad the rest of the program. So that program, I got to give it a 4 or 5. Like I have some people who were in my groups and they loved it. They did it again. And I always just was like, you are a special sort of someone who likes this, because it was just sheer and utter torture for me. Okay, moving on. The next program was Muscle Burns Fat and then Muscle Burns Fat Advanced. My goodness, this program I did while I was freshly pregnant with my 3rd baby. And half the workouts, I just laid on the ground. I would like, just to, keep people guessing so that they didn't realize that I was pregnant, I would record like a couple moments of me, doing like a move or two. And then I would just lay on the ground the rest of the workouts. And these workouts were like strength training. It was a ton of EMOM every minute on the minute. I think that's what it was. Some people love that program. And I don't know, I just can't. I think Megan Davies is super sweet. She's a very sweet person, but Muscle Burns Fat was just not for me. I think it was about like an 8-week program again. And it was just really hard. And at a time when you're not wanting to push yourself that first trimester, that's what it triggered me. So anytime I think about that program, I'm just like it just reminds me of feeling super nauseous and tired and not wanting to do this, but like having to pretend like I'm not pregnant. I mean, I could have said something, but I don't know. At the time, I didn't want to. So I had to just like act like everything was normal. And it wasn't. So then after Muscle Burns Fat, then there was Muscle Burns Fat Advance, which is like the same thing, like 6 weeks again, or 8 weeks, whatever it was. And I think it was 5 days or 6 days a week. The workouts were like 35 to 40 minutes. Like that is not what you want to do when you're pregnant, first trimester. But some people love it. So if you loved it, more power to you. Did I give that a rating? Muscle Burns Fat gets a 3. It's a 3 out of 10. Like, go away, Muscle Burns Fat. Nothing against you, Megan Davies. Just go away. Then 10 rounds. 10 rounds was in there. I think it was actually Bar Blend, 10 rounds, then Muscle Burns Fat, if I remember right. I think that. So I got those a little mixed up. But 10 rounds was a boxing program. It was like boxing and then weightlifting. And that program, that was also with Joel Freeman. So if you remember Lift 4, Joel Freeman, he did the 10 rounds program. It was like boxing and then weightlifting. And it was the first and only program I've ever done with my husband. So for that, I almost want to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give 10 rounds a 10 out of 10 just because it brings back just really funny memories of me and my husband in our like great room doing our like punching, and we've just never done it again. We did realize that we're just not this type of couple that likes to work out together. We're just loners and we just want to do our own thing. But it was a really cute experience to do it together. So 10 out of 10 for 10 rounds. Will I ever do that program again? No, because I just don't want to. I don't want to, I just don't want to. So it was fun, but I don't ever feel the desire to ever do it again. Like I said, this year was the year of programs. Like as soon as you were done, it was like bar blend, 10 rounds, muscle burns fat. Then the next program was 30-day breakaway. 30-day breakaway program was, as you guessed it, 30-day breakaway. Was it only 30 days? I guess it was. So it was like a 4-week program. Yeah, that checks out. It's a 4-week program. I think it was like 5 to 6 workouts a week. The workouts were like 34 to 40 minutes long. Some of the workouts was like strength training. Then you would go on a run. Some of them weren't. So here we are, bar blend. I was not pregnant. 10 rounds, not pregnant. Muscle burns fat, pregnant. Felt like crap. Triggered that. Don't want to remember that. Well, now we're into 30-day breakaway. And again, I don't want to be left out. So just think, these programs, I'm spending money on all of those with all the little extra trinkets and things that you get with those things, spending money on it. And so 30-day breakaway was when I was in my second trimester. I'm not a runner. If you ever have talked to me, I will just bring it up in conversation. Like, I'm not a runner. If somebody says they're a runner, I'm like, I'm not. I'm sorry. It hurts my hips, hurts my feet, it hurts my joints. I don't want to do it. But this program came out and FOMO got the best of me again. So I did this program at my second trimester, third pregnancy. I'm running outside like a lunatic. Okay. I just felt like when these programs would come out, it's like you hear of those people where like a new like plushy stuffed animal comes out and they're like, I had to have it. Or like when Harry Potter, like when each book was coming out and people were like, I gotta have it. And you're like, can't you just like wait until it's like in all the stores and it's cheaper? And they're like, no, I need to have it now. That's how I was with these programs. Like, I need to do it right now. They're like, aren't you pregnant? Like, aren't you like, you've never said you wanted to run? I'm like, no, I need to do it. So that was me. And I remember it was the day I hit my third trimester, I ran my 5K with my family on Thanksgiving and I forced them to do it with me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I forced my siblings to run a 5K with me on Thanksgiving morning while I was pregnant. Do you want to know who got last place? Do you want to know who trained for it? Do you want to know who did the whole program and who got last place? Yeah, all my siblings creamed me and it was a humbling experience for sure. But I did a 5K and now I can say I ran a 5K in my second, or I guess third trimester of pregnancy. So there's that program. Then to end of the year, so this was like December going into January of 22, or wait, no, 21. So to end it, they came out with a program that was called 9-Week Control Freak. And that program, I just was like, I'm about to have a baby. And I think I was due in early February. So at that point, it was end of December. So I'm like pushing in, I'm like 36 weeks pregnant. And I just was like, I'm out. But that didn't stop me from buying the program and promoting it. No. Why would I not get on this bandwagon? So the 9-Week Control Freak, 9 weeks. It was like time nutrition. You had this like track thing that you put on your door. I never did the program. Still to this day, have not done it because I just couldn't get myself to do it. So 9-Week Control Freak, I'm going to give you a 0 because I didn't do it. 30-day breakaway, I forgot I have not ranked that one. 30-day breakaway, I give you, I don't know, a 4 because that was just an unhinged time in my life. That was so unhinged, like what was happening. You get a 4. 9-Week Control Freak, you get a freaking 0. Next program, I wish I could go back in time and erase that whole experience. So a program came out as I'm postpartum with my third baby that was called Let's Get Up. They should have titled it Let's Not and Say We Did. How about that? But it was called Let's Get, and it was with the trainer Sean T. You may have heard of him. And he's a very flamboyant person, let's say. Okay. And it was a whole dancing program. I'm not a dancer. I've never taken a dance class in my entire life. And so I thought it would be great to have that as my first postpartum program. So I did this dance program. One of the moves was the piano, and then you'd have to like hump the air. And those moves, I'm embarrassed. Like Scott would walk into the room, my husband, and I would like just stop because I'm like, I don't want him to see this. Like, this is just embarrassing. However, I would put some of the clips on my Instagram stories, and I had a bunch of other women do it with me. Again, some women loved this program, and that's okay. I, however, wish it never existed. I wish I never would have done it because that was mega embarrassing. And yeah, let's get up. Let's not. You get a negative 1,000 million out of 10. Okay. Job one was actually super fun. Jennifer Jacobs, she like came over to Beachbody from Peloton. So that was like the rumor. And she came on to Beachbody because that's when the mix bike came out. So she was with Peloton. Now she's with Beachbody and she came out with this job one program. And your number one job is to get your workout in. So your job one, get your workout. That's where the name came from. And with that program, I think you had to have like bands and it was 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That program was just cool. Okay, something about Jennifer Jacobs, she would look at you like that. Like she would say something like, you can do anything you set your mind to. Yeah. And like she would like get like her eyes would get like squinty and she would just like stare at you through the TV. I also heard, this is rumors, but people said that she wasn't very nice who met her in person. Like I like saw her in person, but I never got a picture with her. Like she definitely was like, I'm super hot and I'm super cool and I'm way too cool for you. That was the vibe that she gave off in person. And she would always be wearing like super tight dresses and everything. And like her hair is perfect and big white teeth. And, you know, that's amazing. She's a beautiful lady, but she definitely gave off mean girl vibes. Like she has like a RBF face. But that program was really cool because it was only 20 minutes and it was fast. It was in and out, some weightlifting, some cardio, strength training, just fun. So I actually go back to that program a lot because it's 20 minutes and it works really well in busy mom life. So just for the ease of it, not that the trainer is super awesome or anything, but for ease, I give it 8 out of 10 because it's quick, it's easy, it's effective, and it gets your heart rate up and it's just a good program. So that was that year. And then the 645 was with Amwala and it was just a weightlifting strength training program and it was very slow paced. That's what I remember about it. It was like very slow pace. He walked you through the moves, like took his time to explain each move in the proper form. So 645 is also a really great program if you're wanting to get into working out and like strength training, that it just kind of helps you learn the moves and get used to it. So 645 was a really good program. I like that one. Okay, now let's go into 22. This was another year of just so many programs. We're just going to have to go rapid fire. The main purpose of doing this video is just to kind of show you how these MLM companies make money off of their distributors or their coaches or their partners or their affiliates or whatever they call them, because that's just how it is. And they come out with new shake flavors and they come out with new programs and they come out with all these new things, and their number one customers are their distributors. And so I didn't really like see it when I was in it, but now that I'm out of it, I'm like, that is just so wild, because when a new thing would come out, the whole hullabaloo in the team page is like, you got to get it, ring the bell once you've bought it. And so there's just like so much peer pressure to do all these programs, to join all these next things. And I just don't think that's like normal at all. You know, just the peer pressure. Do I regret doing all those programs and talking about it and having a bunch of other people join me with it? I don't think so, because we had a lot of fun, and I mean, they got us results. And I guess at the end of the day, if it gets you into healthy habits, like, is there really harm in it? But also we could have just not, you know, we didn't have to have all these new programs and people having to spend all this money every single time. Sometimes there would be like a digital option instead of buying the whole challenge completion pack situation. But looking back, I'm just like, why did we have to buy all this stuff? And then there'd be a new Shakeology flavor and it was like limited time, everybody get it. And we just freak out. And those weeks, like that's when your paycheck would be insane. So you'd be rewarded because like your whole team was ordering it, then you had a whole customer base ordering it, and it was just like, but then at some point it just became too much for people. So I feel like in 23, 24, they just realized that this is not like sustainable. Like the coaches are burned out, the customers are burned out, like we're just buying all this stuff all the time, one program to the next. Yes, did it force you to do these workouts and you actually would complete them and you're doing it with a bunch of other people, but at what cost? The cost to your wallet. So I don't know. I just know that so many other MLMs are like this, or they come out with like a skincare line and now they're doing this and now they're doing that. And so it's just something, I'm not poo-pooing on anyone who's in an MLM, but just it's something to be aware of. Like, why is this happening? Okay. It just gets to be a lot. So that's why I wanted to share it, because I just think it's interesting, fascinating. And when you're in it, you don't even think about it. You're just moving with the crowd. Everyone's going to do this program. I'm going to do it too. Everybody's doing this. I don't want to miss out on it. Like you're just doing like, oh, people are marketing this. Well, I want to market it. I'm going to do a whole group about it and we're all going to do it together. And so, it got me to work out. It got me to get other women to join and then we would do it together and we'd get results together. Like I've had women in my groups lose like 50, 100 pounds. Like it's insane and feel like fitter and happier and have more energy. So it's hard because there's this balance of like, well, it was helping people and, it helped you. But then when you kind of look back, you're like, yeah, but did we have to have, hundreds of dollars that we spent every single program? Like, I don't know. It's just some food for thought. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think? It's such a weird thing to look back on. But we've now done 14 programs. I'm about 2.5 years into, we're in 2021. So yeah, I've been with BODi for about 2.5 years now, and we've done that many programs. Or 3.5, whatever. We've done 14 programs, okay? And these programs are long. One of the programs was 100 days. Let's get into 2022 was another year. We've got 4 weeks for everybody, Lift More, Fire and Flow, XP Sweat and Sculpt, Sure Thing. 5 programs this year too. So I just feel like those years, I think 22 was the last year where they were like, okay, we cannot release 1 million programs because the coaches, we were getting like whiplash. It was so hard to explain because as soon as you're done finishing one program, now you're moving on to the next program. And it was getting really hard to market because it's like, well, now there's this program, this move, this thing, and this thing. It was just, and they would always say like, you don't have to promote it if you don't want to, but the peer pressure from everybody else doing the program, you're just going to do it because you don't want to be left out, and FOMO. Okay. So every single one of these programs, just remember, you're buying a challenge pack, a total solution pack. It's about 140 to almost $200. Okay. Remember that. So the next program that came out was the 4 weeks for everybody. This also came with the gut protocol. This program, the workouts are actually great. I really like them. They're low impact. There's like a core ball with it. I think you have to use bands with it. It's 4 weeks. I think it's 4 days a week. And the workouts are like 30-ish minutes. And it's just really great. I see a lot of moms do it postpartum. But then the program that went along with it was the gut protocol. And you basically cut out every single food group. You cut out dairy, you cut out gluten, you cut out soy, you cut out, what else do you cut out? Caffeine. You cut out a lot. Okay. Sugar. And so you basically can't eat anything. So when you can't eat anything, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to lose some weight. So that one, I also lost a ton of weight. And that was like the first time I actually started to really see the weight come off that postpartum, that third postpartum. So 4 weeks for everybody. I would give that I don't know. I would give it an 8 out of 10 just because it's like a great program to do postpartum because it's low impact. It's different. It's kind of slow paced. I like it. Everybody, I forgot to say, that was with Autumn Calabrese. She seems nice in person, but then you hear a lot of other things that she's not very nice. So I don't know. I mean, I think she's just doing what she's got to do to pay the bills. But some of the programs, she also was the one that did the 9-week Control Freak. She's done 80-day Obsession, 21-day Fix, things like that. So do with that information what you will. But she's the one that did the 4 weeks for everybody. I'd give that an 8 out of 10. I liked it. Then the next program is Lift More. This one, Joel Freeman. So he's also the one that did 10 rounds, Lift 4. And that program, it was good. It was like an extension of Lift 4. The workouts were a little bit longer, more extensive. You worked out every single day. You had to get a bench. That was annoying. It was like $70 or something for this bench that I ended up just putting on the side of the road when we moved because we just didn't have room for it. So anyways, but that one, I felt like it also just really helped just strengthen my muscles and just, I like strength training programs. So I'll give that one a 7 out of 10. There wasn't anything that I'm like was so crazy. It just was like here nor there. It's a good program. Okay. Then the next one was the XB Sweat and Sculpt. This was with Andrea Rogers. And she's just cute. Like she's just this little blonde, cute little like dancy, like whatever. That program was just fun. I'd give that one an 8 out of 10. It's just fun, lighthearted, and gets you sweating. The outfits are super cute. And I think it was like 5 days a week, 30-ish minutes workouts. Just super fun. I think it was like a 6-week program. So XB Sweat and Sculpt, I liked it. Then Sure Thing came out. That was with Megan Davies. She's the one that also did the MBF, Muscle Burns Fat, and the Muscle Burns Fat Advanced. And Sure Thing, that was good too. It was around the time that I had a miscarriage. And so I just feel like it just kind of tainted my view again. So unfortunately, all of Megan Davies' programs landed on times where I was either really vulnerable, with a miscarriage, or I was in my first trimester. So a lot of her programs are associated with like the worst times of my life. So yeah, that's just that. But they were good programs. So sure thing, Megan Davies, that was pretty good. Sure thing, I don't know, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. Some people loved it, but like I said, I'm triggered by those programs because it was just not good times in my life. Fire and Flow was with Elise Joan and Jericho Matthews. Jericho did Morning Meltdown 100. Elise did the bar blend. So it was like fire and then flow. And so, you had like your burn workout with Jericho, and then you'd have your flow workouts with Elise. And Fire and Flow, I literally cannot really remember anything from it. I just remember I liked it, but I think I'd give it like a 6 out of 10 because I think it was good. I literally cannot remember anything. It was just a blur. I feel like all these programs started to become a blur because it's like program after program. So that was 22, 4 weeks for everybody. Lift More, Fire and Flow, XB Sweat and Sculpt, and Sure Thing. Now let's move on to 23. And then we're just about done. We're almost Chop Wood, Carry Water. And then for this year was when they had realized that, like, oh my goodness, we're coming out with all these new programs and people are getting whiplash. So we're going to start doing these super blocks, because that's not going to confuse people. We're going to have body blocks and super blocks, and we're going to have a new program every single month. And the programs will be 4 weeks long, and it'll just be like a rerun of popular older programs. So there was like a Sure Thing super block, and a Morning Meltdown 100 super block, and a 21-day fix super block. Did I also mention there was one year where they had like a 21-day fix real time, 21-day fix extreme real time, and they like would go through and redo these programs, and you'd have to like re-buy the programs because they would refilm it with like, in modern day with different outfits and like redo it all. There was just a lot of that. So 23 was the year of the super blocks, and they thought that this would be less confusing, but it was so confusing. So you'd have to like pay to have access to the super blocks on top of your other things. So it was, again, but that year it was Chop Wood, Carry Water. I had my baby that year so my fourth pregnancy around that time. And so that was when Chop Wood, Carry Water came out, and I just didn't do it. And I haven't done it, but people love that program. So I really can't say anything about it. It was with Mwala Caesar again. And I think it's a good program. It's all about, like, what is it called? I can't think, but it's like moves that are, from the old times, and it's all about kind of like animalistic, like crawling on the ground. And I'm not explaining this well at all, but basically it's about having more like flexibility, I think. I don't know. I totally butchered that. Then this other program came out that was called For Beginners Only with Lacey Green. That is just a totally fun program. It's just in the words, For Beginners Only. So if you're new to working out, Lacey Green, that was a super fun program. Loved that one. Then in 24, Dig Deeper came out. BODi Lava came out. So Dig Deeper was a program with Shanti. So I had my baby in October, and then Dig Deeper came out in December, and I just was like, I don't want to do it. But I had so many people who loved it. So there's a few programs like 9-week Control Freak, Chop Wood, Carry Water, and Dig Deeper, where I just had to take the loss, and I just was like, I'm not going to do this. And I don't think I bought Chop Wood, Carry Water or Dig Deeper. So I was kind of getting some sense to me towards the end, but Dig Deeper was like, Shanti like became a bodybuilder person. This is the same person that did Let's Get Up, and I just didn't want to do it. So there's that. Then BODi Lava came out, and that was really cool. It was 20 minutes. It was like yoga, Pilates, workouts, and BODi Lava. Like your whole body felt like lava. And it was just really cool. I like that one. It came out last summer, and it was just good. Dig Deeper, like I said, I would give it, I don't know, a 2 because I never did it. And then BODi Lava, I liked it. I give it a 7 out of 10. And then the Belvital came out after BODi ended. So I never did that program, but it was supposed to be with your hormones, and it was supposed to be amazing, and everybody who did it had amazing results. So I can't really say anything about that, but just some extra programs that I did outside of the ones that I mentioned. I did Pyote, 21-day fix real time, 21-day fix extreme, 21-day fix extreme real time. Yeah, I've done 21-day fix a lot. So I feel like I should have talked more about that, but that's a 21-day program. That one I actually kind of like too. It's with Autumn Calabrese. Some people hate it. Some people really don't like some of these trainers, but Transform 20, prenatal bar blend. I did prenatal bar blend a lot throughout my pregnancies. But yeah, that's just kind of a very abbreviated list of the programs that I did. If I went through detail with all of the ones that I did my entire 6 years, this could be a 3 hour situation. But some of the workouts have been accused of just being like absolutely ridiculous moves, like combined with other moves. Like, why are you doing this? Like, sometimes it was just all like the kitschy, like gimmicky, like, ooh, this one you have a weights on your ankles, and then this one you have this, and like, I don't know. I just felt like a lot of times it was just trying to put lipstick on a pig. I don't know if that's the best description, but it's just like there's workouts that work. We don't need to be making fancy names and adding fancy things just to get people to buy it. But it worked in my case because I bought it. So I guess their marketing, good job on you. That is my experience with BODi and some of the programs. And most of them seem really nice in person. I honestly had so much fun with the workouts. I'm still doing them right now. But yeah, I hope that you had fun watching this, and let me know if you've ever tried a Beachbody program and what your favorite ones were. I would love to know. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. We're growing, so I want to keep bringing you this content. This one is just a little bit more fun and whatever compared to the other ones that I shared. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on my channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you could laugh. I hope you had fun. Thank you for being here. I was just going to go into a weird accent, but we'll save that for another time. So thanks.